Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kramer with Brian DeGrizzly and Brandman Brandon. And this week we are talking about episode 6, The Last of Us. So we're coming to the end now. That's it. A couple more episodes left. So
Brandon, more of that Last of Us. I need a little bit more.
Yeah. You gotta watch all the replays and stuff all week. Yep. All right. So Brandon, what do you think about this episode, man? How'd you like it?
Well, speaking of replays, I really like this episode. I watched and rewatched it several times already. I liked how it really went even more into how people have been adjusting at this point in the planet with the colony that they visited. You know, Joel finally was able to meet up with Tommy. We've been waiting to see how and when that happens. That was a cool element to see how how his life has developed and changed over the course of this. Really good performance. Like, I think my standout this episode was Bella Ramsey herself.
I got yeah.
This was really her. Really, like, if she never got to in the past, which she did, but this was really her episode to really shine. I think her and Pedro Pascal, this show wouldn't work as nearly as good as it does if it weren't for those two, and the and the way that they play off of each other. I liked that. This one really hooked me in from the jump. They all do, but didn't feel as depressed as I did the last 2 episodes by the time it ended.
Yeah, it didn't cry. This one was
no
tearjerker.
I was more like, oh damn it, by the time it ended.
I don't know, man. I had a tear in my eye. I was like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your eyes are watery. They weren't you weren't bawling into your hands like some of the other episodes. Yeah. So I know you got to get going soon, so I'll just ask you right now. How'd you like the end of the episode?
I liked it. I like, you need those cliffhanger episodes when the stuff hits the fan. Sometimes something really happens. Joel's not in great shape by the time the episode ends. Once that happened, I knew they were going to cut it off there. So
yeah,
really waiting hand and foot until the next episode to see what ends up happening.
That's why I said, man. How you going to stop right there? I need some more. Just a little bit, just a taste. That's all.
Those cliffhangers, man. That's how they get you.
Oh, every time. Any predictions? What do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to see how they're going to dig themselves out of that situation.
Yeah. It's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm more just kind of waiting rather than any predictions, because even I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the best. I think this show is a lot of taking it at face value rather than like, oh, I want to see this or this needs to happen. Like, I don't know. That's such a weird thing, because usually I kind of like all the other shows are like, oh, I want to see this or I want them to do this. I think this might happen. With this, it's just like, whatever you give me, I'm gonna like it, kind of situation. So, yeah. But yeah. Anything else that stuck out for you, Brandon?
I'd say those were my main points that kind of stood out. I liked Tommy's fiance, the character that Rutina Wesley played.
Yeah,
I thought she was great. Maria. Yeah. I thought Maria was great. She was another high point of the episode for sure.
Yeah.
I liked it. The pacing worked really good for me. Even the time jump. We jump ahead 3 months after the events of the last episode. I actually kind of thought that worked to this episode's advantage. I really liked how it hit the ground running.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they're already in winter area, that's cold, and you meet a random husband and wife with that were just awesome. So yeah. They were great. It's just old married couple living together at the end of the world. Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. But So I know you gotta leave. So whenever you gotta leave, I wanted to get your thoughts and stuff like that before you had to take off.
Yeah, yeah. Those are
But yeah,
definitely
like I said,
mine.
yeah. So whenever you gotta leave, because just go ahead, let us know.
Okay.
But you gonna
Yeah, I'm gonna dash. I'm gonna take
yeah.
off. So
Okay.
yeah, got some stuff to take care of tomorrow. So
Yep.
Do
It's
well.
getting late.
Do
I
well.
will. I
All right.
will.
Yep.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. I'll talk to you
I'll
tomorrow.
talk to you guys later. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Later. All right, Brian. What you think about this episode?
I'll try not to interrupt. I was like, I'm not going to interrupt
Yeah.
him. I'll let him talk about it. Oh my God. So there's a lot of conversation, but I mean, you really saw them building relationships. The relationship between Ellie and Joel was so much. Like you could see how it was creeping along and how Joel was getting panic attacks thinking about trying to rescue this girl. And it's almost like as much as she is getting closer to him and really needing him, it's like she really needs him. Like he keeps her from being scared. He keeps her home. For her, home is when Joel's there. That's the type of relationship they have. It's the exact opposite for him. The more he's getting attached to her, the more he's having more anxiety attacks. He's having heart problems. He's getting older, but it's more about the fact that he loves this girl and he cannot stand to have something happen to her. He can't go through more heartbreak. That's what we've seen the last 5 episodes. We've seen that Joel's going through heartbreak and he keeps on failing and failing and failing, and he can't stand to see it anymore. And the way he even explained the panic attacks was so good because as I say, like I'm a person who has dealt with that with my wife and my sisters and all that stuff, and I've seen it a lot. And the way he described it with the heart palpitations and the not being able to breathe and how important, and the way he explained it was just so raw, so good, and you understood why it was happening. Just that beginning part was so epic to me. I was enjoying just that part. Like the first 15 minutes was amazing. And then, even when he fell asleep and she saw he needed to sleep and she used everything that he taught her. He was like, I checked my 6. I kept on. I got the high ground. I did everything you taught me. And you can see the relationship between like father-daughter relationship developing more and more. And Joel felt it. You see him feeling it, like, in his eyes. And it was brilliant. Ellie was so good this episode. She was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk about the first 15 minutes. You go ahead and talk.
So we also have horror geek said a little rushed, but overall episode was great. Making Joel more vulnerable was a nice change from the game. Yeah I think it just adds like what Brian said too, it just adds more depth to who he is and also what he has been through with, especially with obviously with his daughter, because now he has another young woman he needs to look after. And obviously it's almost impossible not to draw comparisons to my daughter and now this another young woman now that needs me. You know what I mean? So
acts just like him and idolizes him. She idolizes him now, and you can see it.
Yeah, but also like she's very much like Sarah, where Sarah was constantly looking out for Joel. Like, hey, I fixed your watch because I know you loved it. Hey, make sure you eat something. Hey, make sure you go get the cake. Like, made sure, like, she was kind of almost like the wife, kind of in scenario. Like, she was the one that loved him. Like, yeah, you're my father, but I also need to look out for you because I know how you are. So, and now we're getting that with Ellie. When she was staying at the cave, with the gun being lookout. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh, like,
but that
was, I'm looking out for you the way I know.
Sarah never would have done that, and that's what the difference between because Sarah is like as we said at the beginning, she was horrified when she saw when Joel was doing the stuff. Ellie is more like Joel, now doing all the stuff that he's had to do. Because I think that we're going to start seeing, the next episode, the flashes of what happened to her, and she's had to make decisions, and she's had to have terror and things like that to who's kind of began to make her who she is. And man, it was just so good to see those things. But Ellie she sees him as her father. Like you can
Yeah.
start seeing it in that.
100%.
I will follow you to the end of the earth. Because remember what they're talking about, in the last episode. There's a guy who's just so magnanimous, and he's just so dynamic, and you will follow him to the end of the earth, and that's exactly how Ellie sees Joel. Like, I will follow him no matter where he's going. I need to be with him, because without him, I don't know what I'm doing. That's it. He's my compass.
Yeah. It's just, it's so good. Like, this was all about their relationship. Like the other things was always like, but I feel like that's why the other episodes were important, because we're able to see like there's still relationships building in this world that is dying. Like, kind of thing. It's like you have romantic relationships. You have brother relationships. And now you have like another like family. Father-daughter relationship. It's just all those other things that people are like, oh, it's a filler episode, it's a bottle episode. I was like, yeah, but it still creates a feeling of that you need to get there. And like Knox said, Joel having panic attacks, then his little monologue about failing messed me up. That really,
that speech. And then when I realized that Ellie saw it, heard everything, oh my God, that just
because then obviously she didn't hear it for what it was worth. She just heard "take her away from me," but she didn't hear or maybe not hear or understand like "take her away from me."
Understand what he was saying. That I'm falling in love with this little girl. Like, she's becoming something that if I fail her, I'm going to end up like that.
I can't handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna end up like Henry.
Exactly. I'll be like Henry.
And that's how the episode started.
Exactly.
So that's how the episode started, was with the flashback of Henry doing that because of Sam, and I think Joel knows that. He goes, I've lost too much already. That her and the attachment I'm getting with her, it will be my last straw. That if I fail again, like I can't.
I can fail myself, but I can't fail her.
Yeah.
And the more I'm with her, the more I'm feeling it, and I have to have more. I can't just do that. I can't lose her from this. I thought that was so strong.
Yeah, and that's such a sacrifice. Was like, I love this person, but I need you to go handle it because I know I can't do it, and this person needs it done. So it needs to get done, even though I can't do it, and everyone wants me to do it. Man. That was such a good scene. And he's just frustrated with the boot, trying to get the boot. His hand hurts, and he's all beat up and jacked up and old and stressed out. Yeah, man, that sucks.
What'd you think about that scene? I know we can get some of the comments, but what'd you think about the scene that's like directly out of the game?
Which one?
Joel and Ellie. So the one in that room. So in the room, that's like saying that's like scene for scene right out of the game. Like they really delivered on that in the frustration and the hurtful words and it's just, I mean, it really, they did an unbelievable job. Ellie, she's won me over. Bella Ramsey is amazing. It was so good, and I felt every word, and I feel like they made it their own while still staying true to the game. Like, it was a pretty epic scene.
Yeah, it was. Is that the scene where she talks? Well, I know she talks about the book she read and like the heroes, like the astronaut, I believe.
Yeah, so
I forget what her name was.
A scene.
I know that was like from the game too.
So there's a lot of scenes from this, cut scenes from the game. But the one I'm talking about is when Joel is coming to tell her that, hey, Tommy's going to be the one taking you there because I need you to get there, and her reaction and how she was almost drew out of Joel, how he feels about her. Like, she was pulling and pulling and pulling, and it almost came out like, girl, I love you. I can't deal with this. I can't go through the failure. And instead, he says, tomorrow we're going our own separate ways, and he shuts the door and all that. That scene, I mean, it's literally shot for shot from the game. It was exactly from the game, and I felt it. I really did feel it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good because everyone was so worked up in emotions, and Yeah, I mean that's what you get when you get two great actors. You know, Bella Ramsey is a great young actress, and Pedro is obviously Pedro, and you know he's been doing this stuff for a while, but they're just so good, and they have chemistry together. You know what I mean? Like they just work so well together. You know, like they are Joel and Ellie. Like they, it's just
they did a great job casting.
Yeah, 100%. And then where he said Tommy realizing he's a communist lifestyle was so funny because it was, and even Joel turned around like made fun of him.
But you know, it was communist. She's like, no, it's exactly a communist. It's exactly what's supposed to be. You know, Maria was so funny. I loved her too because she just was so matter of fact, actual. Her being a district attorney, just intelligent, being able to help run or something like that. It was beautiful. Because you also think about it, you could have lived in that community and they would have been fine, happily ever after.
Yeah,
Joel and Ellie could have been happily ever after in their own house. You could see her grow up. She would have been safe, and even if there weren't anything happens, they have the guns and everything else they need to stay safe right there. They didn't need to go out and do anything else.
Yep. So, but it's this idea of saving the world. You know, that she's the cure and she can save the world and stuff like that. Especially after what happened with Sam, I can feel like she's like, oh, if I can help, I want to help. You know, so
I think if Joel had said to her, "I just want to stay here with you. We just need to stay here for now, just for a little bit."
I think she would have been okay with it.
Yeah, because you saw her become a little girl. You saw her watching a movie. Yeah. Her taking a shower and having new clothes, and you know the way Maria had that conversation with her, like you could see her reverting back to being a little girl. Instead, this you know, she's reading a diary saying this is all you had to worry about: picking out clothes and match, and boys and those type of relationships. That's all we had to worry about back then. And Joel thinks about it like that. Well, that's exactly what it was. That was another intense scene for me, having little girls once again. You know, like, wow, can you imagine having to deal with that?
Yeah. Knox said, I love the moment where Joel is like, you have a choice. I think Tommy's more capable. And then Ellie cuts him off as she hurriedly went to the horse. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even think about it. She goes, you don't even have to ask me. Like, you already know the answer. You know, and obviously, I think Joel already knew the answer. That's why he went there. And
wasn't that cool though? He was like, yeah, you know, I was ready to leave. I tried to leave 30 minutes ago, and then I was still sitting here and realized I wanted to at least give you the opportunity to choose. And she was like, yeah, duh, you idiot, I choose you.
Yeah. But even like Tommy was cool with it, you know, with all of it. You know, it's like, I'm gonna steal this horse. He's like, oh, I would have gave it to you. And he's like, can I have that gun? You know, Maria, he's like, I already said yes. You don't need to justify. Like, here it is. You know. But even after that, the scene like of them on the horseback on the way to the campus, the university school campus, was so just nice, you know, because before he was so not angry. I don't know. He didn't want to talk about the past stuff. He didn't want to talk about the old world. You know,
he had his walls up.
He had his walls up.
Now, once he made it, he said all that thing in that one scene, and then he decided to give her a choice: did you want to be with me, or did you want to go with Tommy? And she chose him. It's like all his walls came down. He's now an open book, and he's just I'm Joel. I am totally that. I'm not just a UNOC package. You are part of my family. It's like he accepted her as part of the family now.
Yeah, because I think that scene the night before in the room, I think she laid it out on the table. She goes, "Listen, man, you're all I got. You are my family." So you know, she threw it out there, and then it was up to him to choose whether or not he accepts it or not.
Yeah, he's going to reciprocate those feelings. He's going to let down his walls enough to let her know how much he cared. You know, and that was, I don't know. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting that he showed back up in the way he did it, because it still was very quiet for him. He still was able to, you know, to be reserved and still be Joel, but show her that, no, I'm here for you. You know, I chose you. I could have left, but I chose you. I think that's all anyone really wants. Someone wants to know that they're being chosen.
Yeah. So, but I think at that moment, once she chose him, and then that was it. It was just like that's the moment they're like, okay, like we are daughter and father, kind of like it's that, you know what I mean? And then yeah, because he acted different. He showed her how to shoot, which was funny. You know, she was kind of still goofy. You know, like the curse. It still feels weird because I know she's not like 14. I think she's like 19 in real
She's
life.
19 years old, and she's wearing like a reducer.
The like a I forgot what's called, chest thing. Yeah, to make her look obviously younger.
Yeah.
But it just seems like because she does still like look like a 14-year-old in the show, you know, and all the curse words she's saying, I was like, "Oh, you got potty mouth," you know, like I'm not even that crazy
Maria
about
saw her,
that.
she was like, "She doesn't let this girl talk like that."
Yeah. But even that scene was great because, like, you know, she's the potty mouth and saying all the curse words, and then Joe's like, he goes, "We show some manners here," you know what I mean? And then like once Tommy says her and Maria, you know, are together, it's Ellie's turn. Is like, say thank you, like, or say congrats or whatever. You know, it's like how, but even that reminded me of like something Sarah would do. You know, Sarah would go and like, oh, you know, say you're welcome or say thanks, say congrats. You know,
That's
like,
what a daughter would do to a
remind
single father. Say,
yeah,
hey, remember
you know,
this.
yeah, like you're supposed to feel this way now. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But the whole thing, and then the ending, I don't know, because the ending was so fast. I think who said it? Was it Horgy said it was rushed? I felt like it was rushed, but I also felt like it needed to be rushed because they were so comfortable for so long, and then like the bad stuff needed to happen and it needed to happen fast, you know. And I think they did that pretty well.
You know, I know, like even when you just said, Dane said, you know, it needed more zombies in this episode, right? And
Yeah.
I think the idea about the whole Last of Us idea is not, it's not the zombies that are doing all the stuff. It's the people. It's
Yeah.
the zombies are dangerous, but the people are just as dangerous. Like, you know, even when he's saying, you know, how's this journey? Is it full of zombies and all that stuff? And he's like, no, it's not about them. It's about the raiders. It's about, we don't want people to know about this convent and this community because of them, the outside. They're going to try to tear us down. Not the zombies, none of that. So I thought that was interesting too. That was the one that was the thing that they were more worried about.
Yeah. 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 So what next?
So I love Marla and Florence. I'm glad to see another old couple in their own world. It made me think of what if Bill and Frank would have reacted to Ellie. Frank would have spoiled her, and Bill would grumble. Hey, what's up, Lucas?
Somebody's like, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I believe it. Look at him.
He was sleeping for 5 hours. No, he was. We went to bed early, and now he woke up early. So
I know.
Okay, like, what's up?
Say hi, everybody. That's Lucas, guys.
That's the reason why I'm late and I miss shows, and or sometimes I lose track of my thoughts. It's like for the lack of sleep is because of this guy. So
he's just like Tank, except 1/8 his size.
Yeah. He's looking at all the lights right now. He's like, so, but yeah, it's
What's up, Lucas? So now just let him sit here. We won't talk about this while Lucas is here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let him stay. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Knox.
Another couple,
that was a really cool thing to see and see how other people are still living, you know, in this world and how their connection was still really cool. And it's funny when Marla came in, he was like, "So you fed them, gave them soup."
No, the best part was when he's like, "You didn't shoot them?" She's like, "The gun's over there." Like she's just on the couch. Yeah. You know, it's so fun. But even like they even said something interesting where like they're like, "Oh, we were here before the zombies. Before that even happened, we were already up here." So I was like, that's cool, you know, like they were already kind of like a retired old couple, you know, there.
And they're
So
fine to live off the land. They know how to deal with everything. It's no problem because they are, this is their life. So
Yeah.
nothing changed for them. They didn't have a fence up. They didn't have all this
Yeah.
other stuff. They just were just living their life, chilling,
yeah,
doing what they do. So I
Yeah.
love that part. And
Yeah.
as
was
Doc
great.
said, it kind of makes you think about Bill and Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost like, but like a little bit because Bill and Frank were so very romantic all the time with each other. You know what I mean? Where the Marlon and Florence were very the old traditional couple that you always think of, or like
We've been together for 50 years.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's a couple that don't need to talk; they just grunt and they kind of get it,
She's like,
yeah,
okay.
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I did appreciate that people could survive in this world if they really wanted to. Yeah,
exactly.
And
once again, it wasn't the zombies; it's the other people that are the problem.
Yeah,
and I think that's the main thought in all these episodes is that it's not just the zombies that are the problem; it's the people. In every episode, it's the people that bring all the drama. The zombies are dangerous, but there's dangerous like dangerous animals or danger. Like you could deal with them in a certain way, but it's the people that are bringing all the other problems.
Yeah, yeah. They're the real threat.
The real threat, exactly.
Yeah.
Horror said, "Cute baby."
Ah, thank you, Horror.
Look at him.
He's pulling out the back of his head, his bald spot. He's looking around. He's like, "Look at all this stuff." It looks like he's looking at the shelf back there, but it's just a green screen.
He's like, "This looks exactly like upstairs."
Yeah, exactly.
Knox said, "It annoyed me so much that Joel pulled the weapon out of himself. I felt like if he would have just worked better, if the Raider stabbed him and then he ripped out the weapon instead of him pulling it out."
Oh, I get you.
If he would have held it in, he might have been able to not bleed out.
That's what I said. As a medical professional, I'm like, if you can just leave it in and wrap it up somehow, like, take off your jacket and just like wrap it so it doesn't actually go in more or move around. But that's my nursing thing is like, no, don't pull it out. He pulled it out. Like, you were clogging you put a plug in the leak, man. Leave it in there.
Exactly. Yeah, you put a plug in the dam, and now you taking the plug out. All this stuff is going to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Oh. They probably shouldn't be down here too much. So, the baby. So,
say bye,
whenever you hear me talking about why I'm late and stuff like that, it's this little man keeping me up. So, all right. You want to stand up.
Right. It'll be summertime. It'll be summertime soon enough to be warm in the basement.
Oh, it doesn't get too bad in the basement, but there's still a lot of smells and stuff. So, we'll work on it. Stared at me.
We'll work on it. I'm telling you, we can make this. We can make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to remodel the basement, but it's neither here or there. Yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, but it was a good episode, man. Yes, there you go. Yeah. I'm not a medical professional, but I knew that. Yeah, I mean,
don't pull out the plug out of the dam and then expect it all to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it probably would have hurt like all hell being on horseback and trying to run away, bouncing with that still inside, but probably
he could have made it back to the community. He probably
I don't know, because that was a 5-day. Wasn't that a 5-day ride?
I thought that it was.
It was a multiple day ride. I think they said.
It was 2 days.
I don't know how long was it. 2 days? Might have been 2 days. Yeah. That's still a lot. I mean, he's still gonna be bleeding, and he's probably because then also if it's staying in that long, sepsis might kick in, and any other kind of infection because it is open wound.
And it's dirty.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's dirty. It's not good. It's not good. But pulling it out is definitely going to be quicker.
Then what happens then?
I don't know. I don't know. I wonder. I think. I don't know how close they're going to keep it to the game and stuff like that. I don't know. It's been fairly close enough to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what happens in the game, but I think Tommy's gonna come and save him.
Yep.
You know, I think Maria might be with them, or
Doc says
somebody.
It's a 5-day ride.
Was it 5? Because I know they said multiple days. So like, there's no way like they're going back. You know, even if they patch him up right now, he wouldn't make it back. Yeah, he wouldn't make it back. I think, I don't know. Do they go back though? Because I could one of two things I think was gonna happen: either Tommy and Maria, or a group from the what was it called, Jackson, I think.
Yeah,
the little town. They come and save him, or another group of fighters find him and bring him in. You know, or maybe dragonflies, or what are they called? Not dragonflies, fireflies.
All right, the fireflies, exactly. So do you go back to that town, or do you go to where they're now? You know, do you go to? Is it closer to go to Colorado?
Yeah.
You know, what's closer?
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting.
How much does Ellie know how to do? Does Ellie know how to stitch him up?
Yeah.
Does she know to use the flask as anesthetic? Like, what does she know?
Yeah, I mean, I know she says she's read, so it's gonna be interesting. Is like, what like did you? I assume they would teach her first aid stuff, especially in this kind of world. But I don't know. I don't know.
Because like, we're gonna get a flashback into her school, the stuff that she went through. How did she get bitten the first time? All that stuff. In that time, did we find out that she was going to become an officer, and they taught her how to do some first aid stuff? So they really show that, and then now they go back to present time. 20 minutes into the movie to the show, and then they show that she was able to dress his wounds and get him onto something flat. Like they haven't moved far, but she's done enough to save his life again.
Yeah,
which then puts their connection even stronger again. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to live forever. I'm just saying that she saves his life for now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then the Horror Geek says, "Left Behind" and David's story is left.
Yeah.
So basically, the Winter Saga of the game.
Of the game.
So, I said I never played it, so I just watched like YouTubers and Twitch people play it 9 years ago at this point. So. Yeah,
it's been such a long time.
Yeah, I never finished watching the second video game, and my girlfriend never watched any of it. So she, one of her favorite streamers, wound up playing the second game. So she just watched the entire second gameplay, and I think she said if season 1 is game 1 and season 2 is game 2, she don't want to watch season 2.
Yeah, that's
not because it was bad.
They're going to figure out.
She said not because it was bad. She goes, it was a good story, but damn, it was violent. It was violent. Every time I went upstairs and she was watching it, somebody was getting killed. So, like, it was very violent, very gruesome. But game 2 had a lot of other issues that other people had. She just said she doesn't like very gory, graphic kind of stuff, and there was a lot of violence in game 2. But game 1, I mean, it's considered one of the best games ever, story wise.
And I think
very dark. That's a good way to put it. Very dark, very dark.
I think that we reached that turning point that if they realized that they would have stayed in Jackson, their lives would have been so much different.
They could have lived happy ever after.
Exactly.
But yeah. Well, so what do you think is going to happen? What do you see happen at the start of the next episode?
So of course, the start is going to be about her going back in the time to show her friend and how she had her officer's training and all the other stuff, and her goofing off is what got her bit the first time, and find out that she didn't become a zombie and all that stuff. And then it's going to come back to common regular time, and then I think Tommy is going to. It's going to be a couple of days, and Tommy's going to be worried, and he's going to follow, just to make sure they're okay. And my question is, does Tommy end up having to be sacrificed, trying to save Joel?
Nah, I don't think so. We just got introduced to Tommy. I I mean, they could kill him off and no one would be too upset. At least non-video game players won't be too upset. But I think he still's got a role to play. I think.
I hope so. And I just don't know how close they'll keep it to the game. There's only 2 things left. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen. So I feel like obviously Joel. I don't think Joel dies yet. So we got some time for that still. This is not what kills him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you said personally, I really liked part 2 and thought it was a more ambitious game. Definitely was. The show can fix some pacing issues some people had with it. Yeah. My girlfriend liked it a lot. She said it was really good. She said number 1 was still good, but I think if HBO tells it like one long story rather than being the second game and stuff like that, I think they could tell it pretty good. And I think a lot of people that already had issues with this season, they're like, all right, if you're not gonna watch it, don't watch it, because if you had issues with certain things in this season, then you're gonna really hate the next season possibly and stuff like that. So I think this season's kind of weeding out those people. And then, I mean, granted, there's still like record number people watching it on HBO, so it's not like starving for attention. It's definitely still like probably one of the best things on TV right now.
It's funny. We're talking about the what's going to happen next. I feel like Tommy is the most important character from now on. Like he's going to be the one. Think about it. Joel went all the way to Wyoming from where he was on the East Coast to Wyoming. Who the hell wants to go to Wyoming? No one, even now. It's just, and he's going all the way to Wyoming just to check on his brother. And I think that's weighing on Tommy. And little things that that Joel said to Tommy, like, hopefully you will be a good father. Things like those type of little things make Tommy feel like I kind of gave up on family. I need to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
And so like I think Tommy's going to be a central character, in the next couple of episodes. I don't know, 2 or 3, whatever. That Tommy's going to be the dude. And a lot of this is going to focus on him. And as far as Joel gets, it's going to depend on Tommy.
I can see that. But I can see like what's her name? Ellie, like making sure Joel is still good.
She'll do whatever, do whatever to try to make sure he's okay. Yeah.
And Jorge said, they already introduced part 2 cameos in this episode.
Yeah.
And then Knox said, I think I saw Dina. And a lot of people said that where even the director show writer guy was like, oh, thank you guys. Like he put something funny on Twitter about this in specific. But the darkness and the grift of part 2, but serious pacing issues episode, especially with Abby's section. We're gonna get to all of that stuff. But there's filler. It's a video game, so there's always a lot of filler.
Well, I mean, and you can see what they did with this. They put a lot of filler, but they took filler and they explained all of it out. So things that you didn't really understand what was going on, they've taken the TV show to explain and give good stories to help put it together, try to hold it together better. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, because a video game, you always see it from like one person's view, obviously, because you are playing that person. Where a TV show, it can explore things. it can explore a deeper connection in Bill and Frank that we got like one sentence of what could possibly happened before. So you can do different things.
We got more with Tess. We saw more with all the characters, so I feel like that. Henry, the mob. Like the militia, like we understand them more, and they've taken liberties in order to make it more cohesive. And I appreciate that, and I think that I'm not worried about season 2. I think they're going to give us everything we need. They're going to put the story and make it make sense.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Abby's story, the Rat King, certainly grateful for. Best horror moment of both games. They had good moments, but I mean, we're talking about part 2 because that's right around the corner. We got 3 more episodes.
7, 8, 9.
for this, and then that's it. And then we're on to part 2. And from what we were told, is part 1 or season 1 is the first game, and season 2 is going to be the second game. So that's what they told us. I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah,
so
I think they're going to stay true to that.
Yeah, and this might be just a two maybe 3 season season. You know,
it's 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think so. They might stretch the second game into two because there is a lot of stuff that happening there as well. But they could cut it and make 10 episodes and call it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it depends on what they make it 10 episodes and they put 5 and 5. You know, like
yeah. So they said they would split part 2 into 2 seasons. So we're getting at least 3 seasons. So, which I see, because there's like a lot of stuff that happened in part 2.
Ellie grows up and a lot of stuff is happening, and yeah.
Part 2 is longer, and there's more in depth and more thought. I don't know how to say it. There's more, characters think about things a little bit more in part 2, I think. You know, be good.
What
3 seasons, good.
What if they go back to Florence and what's his name, Marlon?
Marlon. Well, they're farther, aren't they? They're even farther than the city.
So there was a 2-day trip from their house to get to the community, because they went to sleep overnight in that cave, and they had to go there. So possibly that's closer. Like maybe Tommy gets there, they need to decide where they're going to go, and then they say, okay, we're going to go back to, to their place, Florence, and or even maybe they're the ones that find them.
Maybe they find them random.
Maybe Marlon's out there and he sees her struggling and he finds them. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, and if they get back to Jackson at all.
Yeah, they should let them into Jackson. They might. They might.
That was their
choice. But can they make it? Yeah.
Without bringing too much attention to the entire community, because Tommy's got to think about he has an unborn daughter or son, that he has to protect.
Yeah. It's gonna be good, man. The next couple ones are gonna be really, really good. I cannot wait for this. Like every week, man. I don't know how. There's very few shows where every episode is better or just as good as the last one.
Every episode, I found myself saying, "Man, was that my best episode? Man, was that the best
episode?" Exactly. Even this one, I feel was like very different from some of the last ones, but it's still
no zombies.
It's still hit.
There's
no zombies.
There's no nothing. No fungus out there. It's cold,
which makes sense though. It's cold. Yeah, they're cold. It's winter. Like now they got used to growing in hot stuff, like in the human body. So can they survive the cold like that? Yeah, I wonder if we get more stuff like that.
Yeah, I would immediately thought to go to cold area. Like, where do you not see these things?
Yeah.
Non-moist place. When it's frozen, because you need moisture, you need darkness. That's what you need to grow mushrooms. So go to places where it's not moist. It's very dry. Very dry, very cold.
Yeah. Very bright. All the snow makes it nice and bright. So, yeah. Oh yeah. So real quick, let me pull up these last one because Knox said a thing I thought was really interesting. What was when it pops up? She said, "I love how they played an '80s song at the end. '80s means trouble." Yes,
exactly.
Yes, and it also the song itself in the context of the show meant something, but the song itself meant something to the situation that they were in. So I was like, great. Even at the end, I'm like, oh, great song at the end. It just it summed up
the hopelessness and everything that the trouble that they're in. It summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, and it being an '80s song, which means trouble in the show. So yeah, love that one. And then Jorge said, I saw some people complaining about the last episode being 6 minutes long, but honestly, the end segment of the game was pretty short.
Yeah.
Oh, the last episode 9 is going to be 46 minutes. I mean, by then, I mean, you're done telling a story and you're concluding. Yeah, you're concluding the story. You're done building up things. You're done setting up things. And hopefully that last episode is just the conclusion of it all, because you're not doing anything else anymore. You're finishing it. So I don't mind it. I mean, as a fan, I wish I get another 85-minute episode like episode 1, but I get why episode 1 has to be 85 minutes because you're setting up a bunch. And I get why the last one might be a little bit shorter is because it's the end.
Bring you up to the cliff and they'll tell you like, cliffhanger. That's it.
No, I think it's going to have an ending. But then, obviously, I mean, there's always space for a sequel because obviously they made a sequel video game. So, but I'm cool with 46 minutes. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I want more, but if it's done well, there's no reason why not to believe it's going to be done well. So, but cool, man. Damn, we've been talking about this one for a while.
Yeah, it was good. I feel like we need to really flush it out. This was a very good episode, and it deserved to talk about all the stuff that happened, even though it was very non-violent, not action. Yeah, it was a huge action, but it was the story. It really brought along the story, and we're going to enjoy the next 2 episodes because of all the information we got from this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
7, 8, 9 would be great.
So Jorge's saying episode 1 was supposed to end when Joel threw that kid in the fire. Remember when they at Boston? He goes, but they combined episode 1 and 2 together, which is the reason why there's only 9 episodes and not 10 episodes.
Wow,
that would make sense because then it would be 2 shorter-ish episodes.
And they really wanted to introduce Ellie in the episode 1. That makes perfect sense. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they made those choices because I would have been upset if they didn't introduce Ellie immediately.
Definitely a better way to go. And also it being 85 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
Those
are the best ones. Those are when we talk about those Marvel ones that they have 2-3 episodes at the same time. It's a good introduction. That it almost gives you binge opportunity because you're watching that much of the episode.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's a good way to hook you on. And now every week I'm like, all right, what time is it? Is it 9 o'clock yet? Check the app.
Is it on? Don't come on at 8? It comes on at 8, I think.
All I know is I check my app every 15 minutes. Like, is it on yet? Is it on yet? Is it on yet?
I get notifications on Twitter. I follow a few channels and they're like 15 minutes before episode blah 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 starts. I was like, really? And they're like, episode blah 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 starts right now. I was like,
you're like, okay. You guys are terrible. Why am I watching that? And as you walk to the TV,
yeah, I know.
Turn it on exactly the same amount of time.
Yeah, but yeah, super excited, super happy. Great show, man. This was, and you know what's even better is we're gonna get Pedro Pascal, and then it's gonna lead into Pedro Pascal. Like we're gonna get one great season or series of The Last of Us, and that's gonna end, and then right into him doing the same thing but in Star Wars with the Mandalorian.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is, man. That guy is on. He's at the peak right now. So
I mean, he's doing great things, and I'm enjoying the journey. That's the biggest thing. I'm enjoying the journey that we're going on right now.
I mean, he's saving Star Wars. He had one of the best SNLs in a long time, and he's given us the best video game adaptation, like show on HBO, and even probably one of the better things on HBO in a long time too. So,
yeah, this quality. I mean,
yeah, this is HBO, like what you remember. What
House
HBO
of the Dragons, was. I mean, come on,
House of the Dragon was okay, but yeah, it was. I don't want to hate on it, but yeah, it was good. It was good. But we also saw that before. It was kind of like it was okay. This I prefer this one over House of Dragon.
Yeah, I think they're both There's room for
They're
both.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Just don't ever play them at the same time. Yeah. But super happy about it all. It's all good stuff. Yeah, definitely best live action video game adaptation. 100%.
Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got anything
But
else?
cool. I was just gonna ask you.
No, this is it. I'm
Call it
done.
night.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was a long one. 2 topics. That's all we had today. It was just 2 topics. It took 2.5 hours. So, yeah. And then
I like what
Knox
Knox
said,
says. Yeah. Exactly.
they're doing their own ways. It's true. They
Like,
are
trying to get me to choose between my children. No.
HBO knows what they're doing. It's like, we're gonna give you greatness and then another greatness, another greatness. They ain't no time. So
I still don't trust Warner Brothers. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But all right, let's get out of here. Appreciate everyone hanging out in chat. Horror Geek, Knox, thank you. I know Brandon came in, but he was asking about our previous topic. But cool. We're gonna cut these up. So if you want to just watch us talk about Ant-Man for a while with the Cold Lords, we're gonna make sure you can go check our channel out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when we post all of our edited live streams.
Yeah.
A good word. Yeah. So, and then if you want to be part of the show, like Knox and Horror Geek, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then check us out live every Monday and Thursdays. Sorry, Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting tired, man. And you can be part of the show like they were with us all this episode of The Last of Us, Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Look at you, man.
It is a temper.
It's funny because you get exhausted. You're gonna go back upstairs, and Lucas gonna be like, "Nah, bro, you ain't going to sleep."
Nah. Yep. Exactly. I'm like, come on, man. Go to sleep. Yeah. But cool. Like I said, thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday. We'll see you on Thursday.
Guys, we'll see you on Thursday. You'll see our videos. We have a lot more videos to release. We have some things that we're going to release for the Oscars this week too. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to sign us off this time so Tank can go to sleep.
Exactly.
We will see you guys later. See you
later.